What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down the 3 keys to snapping down and 3 tips that you guys can use to improve your snap down at the top of like a curl break, a comeback, or like a dig route, or even like a stop route, okay, or even a hitch route, right? So these are the things that are going to help you have that violent drop of your hips and be able to create that energy at the top of the route. So I hope this video gives you guys some value and you learn the ins and outs of running those types of routes, okay? But also, fellas, if you guys are a wide receiver and you need to get better route running, check out that very first link in the description. It's premium content that you cannot get on our YouTube channel, Instagram page, TikTok page, whatever it is. It's our route running Bible. So what you get access to is a 49-minute long video. It's how to improve your route running in 10 days. So it's a step-by-step schedule of all the route running drills you need to do to improve the specific aspects of your game that'll make you a better receiver. And you'll get a 48-minute long video on 20 different press releases, drills to work those releases, and when to use those releases, okay? So it's all the things that you need to improve off the top, off the line, top of the route, and throughout the route. And it's a buy one, get one free price. So again, very first link in the description, fellas. Let's get started. So first tip here, I want to talk about this route here from Waddle from OTAs, right? So now the thing about this is, or maybe it's rookie minicamp, I'm not sure where this clip came from, but main thing is that when he's getting into this route, you guys cannot raise up your pad level. So that's the number one thing. So many guys get so concerned with like the steps at the top of the break. Am I running a smooth route? Am I having that drop? But they don't understand that you got to have that vertical, like you got to be able to sell vertical and have that stem portion of this route to be able to get to that point. So you see Waddle is obviously a fast dude, right? Like one of the fastest guys coming out of the draft, if not the fastest. So when he's coming out here and he's pushing vertical, you're a vertical threat, right? So the thing that's going to screw you over when you're running routes, especially, and you see this a lot from Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill's a great route runner, and he does not do this, which is why I think he's able to get so much separation, is he doesn't change up that pad level. So you see right before that break, what Waddle does, you see how he starts to raise up, and you see how his chest is vertical, and he's starting to chop those steps. You might not be able to see that unless we watch it full speed again, and you see how he's running here, and then he starts to chop down, and then he snaps down. And this is a great snap down. Outside leg, chin to his knee, second step's pivoting, third step's hooking around, and he's driving off that third step. And that's great. Those are the amount of steps that we're obviously shooting for. But what did he do? Didn't sell vertical until the last possible second. So that's the number one tip that I think I could give you guys, is that it doesn't matter how many steps you take at the top of the break. It does not matter how explosive you are when you drop at the top of the break. If you're not selling vertical all the way up to it, if you give an indicator to a DB, a good DB is going to sit on this thing, right? So I just got to make sure that I don't pop my chest up, don't pop my pad level up, don't start chopping my feet. If he would have stayed in stride, if he would have kept the same pad level, and then he was able to have that violent snap down, and then he was able to have that quick transition with the steps, even if he took 5 steps, he'd still be able to get out this fast, and he would have moved that DB further off of his platform, which allows me to create space. These 3 steps don't mean anything if somebody can take 5 steps just as quick, and they sold vertical longer than we did, okay? So that's what we're going to be looking at in this next clip here with Jerry Jeudy. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. So the number one key to being able to snap down is not, I want to get out in 3 steps. It's, I want to sell vertical for as long as possible. I don't want to have any indicators on my route. I want to sell this thing into the last possible second. Let's watch the thing again, full speed. Great job coming out here. And it's a good break, dude. It's not a bad break. It's smooth out of the break. He's keeping timing with the quarterback. It's just those little indicators, those little details, fellas. The details is what matter. The devil's in the details. So again, now let's take a look at this route from Jeudy. So this is like kind of a scramble drill situation, but it's the same drop. It's almost like he was running a stop route. Lock escapes out of the pocket, then he shoots out back towards the sideline. That's not really what we're focused on. We're focused on the snap down, right? That's what this video is about. So the second tip kind of ties into the first tip. Let's not change up that pad level. Let's keep a good pad level. Let's keep no indicators on my route, no indicators on what I'm trying to do with the stem. So now we take a look at Jeudy here. The second key to snapping down and getting out of these breaks is do not worry about steps. Pretty similar to what we were talking about with number 1. So let's watch Jeudy right here. Let's watch how he's running this route. So you see, he's here perfect in stride. In stride, good pad level, numbers not exposed. This DB's hip to hip with him. But you see when he goes to snap down, there's no change, right? From here all the way to the break point, there's no change in his pad level, there's no change to his stride, and there is no change to his speed. That is what gets separation, because you see how high this DB is? Because he's fully committed to this break. He's fully committed to the vertical portion of this route. And if we get him fully committed to it and he's running, he's thinking, oh shit, I don't want to get beat over the top. This guy's fast. He's got speed into the break. Then that's what's going to get us separation, right? Now let's count how many steps he took, right? So Waddle took 3 on that clip. How many does Jeudy take? He snaps, so that's 1, gets in a low position with his hips. He probably could get a little bit lower here, and that'll probably eliminate the extra steps that he takes. He probably could get that chin a little bit more down towards his knee. But again, same violent drop. Just make sure that we're dropping my hips aggressively. So let's count them. 1, pivot 2, 3, 4, 5. And he breaks off of that 5th step, and that 5th step is what's going to shoot him either back towards the ball, towards the sideline, whatever it is, right? There's no way that he's running downfield and he saw, lock scrambling, I'm going to snap down and then I'm going to run this route. There's obviously a design route that he was doing. He was probably going to come back to the ball on either a stop route, curl route, whatever it is. Then he sees lock it out of the pocket. Then he's going to scramble out of there, right? Or maybe he sees something downfield like a safety shooting over, or like whatever it is, but there's some kind of indicator this is not just something he randomly did, right? So those 5 steps that he took right there to get out of this thing is just as fast as Waddle taking 3, right? It's just as fast, and guess what? He got more separation because this DB believed vertical longer. That's the key. So make sure we don't worry about the steps when I'm snapping down. Make sure I'm worried about pushing vertical, having a violent drop of my hips. And again, if you work this situation when there's like, let's say there's a cone right here and you're trying to snap around the cone, you got to be thinking about how low can I get my hips to make sure that I'm tight around the cone, right? You don't want to be drifting off this thing. You don't want to be running. That's the other side of this thing. A lot of guys get so caught up in just running full speed, and that's fine and that's good. That's what you should be thinking about. But then they don't actually drop their hips. They just take like a hard step, and then they have a horrible break where they drift off the line. You got to have that balance. You got to be able to sell vertical and have a violent drop of your hips so you can turn the corner tight. Don't worry about steps at first. Once you start getting these concepts down, then we can worry about, okay, how many steps am I taking? Can I cut out some steps? Can I get out in 3? Don't be trying to think you're trying to get out in 2. That's a mistake that a lot of guys make. Think about getting out in 3 steps. The only time you're getting out in 2 steps is probably like a dig, a hitch, or a stop route, okay? Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Judy coming off here. Great job selling vertical. That's the key. Pad level, speed, and stride, and then we were able to get out of this break and create some explosion. So now we're going to look at this ride from Deontay Johnson. So main thing I want to talk about is just like how violent it has to be. So that's the 3rd key tip, is that a lot of guys aren't violent enough. So when he comes off here, I want you to see how explosive that drop is, right? You see just how aggressive he drops into this break. That's what gets separation from this dude. Because the reason why we say you want a violent drop or an aggressive drop or an explosive drop, whatever terminology you want to use, the reason why we say that is because that doesn't give this dude time to react. Because what a lot of guys will do is they'll run full speed and then they don't have, like, you see how his weight drops. It's like a sudden drop of his weight. He just drops right now. A lot of guys don't have this. A lot of guys will get to this point, but it's like a cruise. They'll rerun and run it, and then they slowly get into it. They sink their hips, right? And that's the phrase that everybody loved to used to say. Hey, you want to sink your hips and beat the drum, right? But the thing is that the DBs are evolving every single year. They're good athletes. They're the fastest athletes on the field usually. So we got to have something more than just a sink into the break, right? Even if I do sell vertical and I sink into the break, he's trying to have the quickest transition possible with his feet because he knows that he was biting on the vertical and he's coming back down to this ball. So that violent drop is the 3rd key tip to having a good snap down. You can't snap down. Even the phrase like snap down, you can't do that without your hips being aggressive, right? So you got to make sure that anytime I'm into this break, whether it's a stop route like this, it's a violent drop. The steps also are violent. You're not on your heels, but you're being violent with your steps to be able to create that power, to create that energy, but also to just decelerate. Because that hip drop, you want to be able to decelerate, but at the end of the day also, you want to be able to create energy so you could shoot back to this ball or just put the brakes on so I could catch this ball right off of this thing. That's a great rider by Johnson. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job being violent, okay? So the 3 keys, you want to make sure that we're not raising my pad level, giving the DB any indicator. Then the 2nd key, I'm not worried about steps right away. I'm worried about selling vertical. And number 3, you want to be violent with your hips, violent with those steps to create as much separation as possible. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave those in the comments. I always appreciate the questions. I always appreciate the feedback. It helps me get new ideas for these videos, so I appreciate it. And again, fellas, if you guys want advanced content on how to improve your route running, it's a full 10-day step-by-step schedule, 49-minute long video. And that 10-day schedule you can use. Obviously, you have access to this video. For the rest of the time you want to use it, it's yours for life. And then you have a 20 press release video with all the drills to work on those releases, all the technical points of those releases, and when to use those releases. So again, check out that very first link in the description. Buy one, get one free price. Hope we get you guys on that soon. I'll see you guys next time.